Right now, your bank has quietly placed you into a category, not by your name, not by your character, and definitely not by how long you've been a loyal customer. Somewhere inside a computer system, a number attached to your account quietly changes every night. That one number can influence whether you pay another overdraft fee or whether a private banker calls before you ever need to ask for help. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on that system and revealing how banks treat retirees at every wealth level, from $0 to $25 million. But the point where everything changes isn't where most people think. You'll expect it to be $1 million. It isn't. It happens much earlier than that, quietly, almost invisibly, long before anyone would call you rich. We start where almost everyone starts. $0. A $35 fee lands on a transaction you made 3 days ago, one you'd already forgotten about. You don't call to dispute it. You already know what the automated system will say before it says it. What you don't know is that overnight, before you'd even poured your coffee, a script somewhere quietly reran your entire risk profile, checking your balance history, your overdraft frequency, your payment patterns, and decided, without asking you a single question, exactly how much patience you're worth today. At the counter, the teller is polite and efficient, and has seen 40 people today. You are the 41st. Nothing about this is personal, because to the system behind her screen, nothing about you is personal yet. Later, in your kitchen, you do the math you already know by heart. What's left after the fee, what's left after the pharmacy, what's left after Thursday. It always comes out the same. Thin. Here's the part almost nobody realizes. The fee was never really the punishment. The punishment is what happens next. Quietly, without you noticing it happen at all. The furnace repair you keep putting off another month. The insulin you split a little closer than the label recommends. Decisions nobody at that bank will ever see you make. The rule of level 1. The bank isn't ignoring you. It's deciding how much risk you're worth carrying. And once that decision is made, something stranger starts. The bank doesn't just charge you less or more, it starts deciding what to sell you. $10,000, and your car needs $1,400 in repairs you don't have sitting in checking. You sit across from a loan officer, feeling for the first time in decades like you're asking permission to fix your own car. He runs your numbers, not to protect you, to price you. The rate that comes back isn't the rate advertised in the lobby window. It's higher because the algorithm behind his screen has already decided you're a slightly greater risk of missing a payment than the man who walked out 5 minutes before you. Your wife asks quietly in the car afterward what the rate came out to. You tell her, and watch her do the same math you just did, her face changing the same way yours did. Neither of you says the word embarrassing. You don't have to. You sign anyway. What choice does the car give you? On the drive home, you find yourself doing the math on the new payment against the pharmacy bill due the same week, the way you've done math your whole life, quietly, in your head, so nobody has to watch you do it. Nobody warns you that the loan office is the first place where customer quietly starts meaning opportunity, not an opportunity to help you, an opportunity to profit from the fact that you need something. But the loan office isn't where the real surprise is waiting. That happens somewhere stranger, the day something goes wrong that isn't your fault at all. $50,000, and a charge appears on your statement you never made. $312 from a city you've never visited. You call, heart already racing, and something unexpected happens. The wait is shorter than you braced for. The case is opened same day. The money is returned to your account before the investigation even finishes. What you don't know, what almost nobody watching this knows, is that fraud cases are quietly triaged by account tier, not because anyone wants to admit it out loud, because the system has learned that customers at this level are worth protecting quickly, and customers at $0 often wait far longer for the exact same problem to be resolved. Some wait a week. Some wait longer, checking their account every morning the way you used to check the mailbox, hoping today's the day it's fixed. The theft was identical. The treatment wasn't. You hang up the phone feeling something you didn't expect to feel over $312. Relief? Yes, but also a strange unease. A sense that you just watched a system work exactly the way it was built to, and that it doesn't work that way for everyone. The rule of level 3. Safety isn't equal. It's rationed. But speed isn't the biggest shift coming. The biggest shift happens the day the phone starts ringing the other way. $250,000, and for the first time, they call you. A voice introduces herself as a retirement relationship specialist. She already has your account open. She asks gently if you have 15 minutes to talk about your goals. Sitting across from her in a private office with a door that closes, you realize she isn't selling anything today. She pulls up a simple chart, walks you through when to claim Social Security, how your accounts fit together, what happens if one of you outlives the other by a decade. She asks what worries you at night. Nobody has asked you that in years, not even your own family, not in those exact words. This is the threshold most people miss entirely. Not because the dollar amount is dramatic, because it's the moment a bank stops reacting to you and starts pursuing you. The exact instant keeping you satisfied becomes worth more, on a spreadsheet somewhere, than the cost of trying. And once that call happens, something even stranger follows. The bank stops just protecting your money. It starts quietly managing your time. $750,000, and you mention almost in passing that you're thinking about refinancing to help your granddaughter with a down payment. What used to take 6 weeks of paperwork happens in 9 days. Documents you'd normally chase down yourself simply appear, already filled out, waiting only for your signature. You call once on a Saturday, half expecting voicemail, and a real person picks up on the second ring, already knowing your file by name before you finish explaining why you called. Your granddaughter calls that weekend, breathless, to tell you the offer got accepted. She has no idea how many phone calls never had to happen to make that moment feel effortless. Nobody explains how it worked. Nobody has to. You think for a moment about the man who once sat in a car loan office feeling like he was asking permission. You wonder if he'd recognize this room at all. The rule of level 5. The paperwork doesn't get easier because you got smarter. It gets easier because someone decided your time was finally worth protecting. But convenience isn't the rarest thing waiting at the next level. Something quieter is. $2 million, and there's a door with no sign on it, easy to miss unless you already know it's there. Behind it, a private banking floor. Carpet that swallows footsteps, no queue rope in sight, and, one afternoon, a walk down to the vault, where a manager personally opens a safe deposit box that's yours alone. No line, no waiting, no explanation required for why you're there. A wire transfer that would have taken 3 days at $0 clears the same afternoon, a phone call away, no forms, no branch visit. When your card gets declined overseas on a trip, a fraud flag, ironically, meant to protect you. Someone from the bank calls your hotel directly within the hour to sort it out in a country where you don't speak the language and never had to. Discretion, it turns out, isn't a luxury you can request. It's one that gets extended to you, quietly, once the bank has decided you're worth the trouble of never making you wait. The rule of level 6. At this level, you stop asking for exceptions. You start being one. There's one more layer most people never see. What happens once the money quietly stops being only about you? $5 million and the conversation in that private office changes for good. Nobody mentions fees anymore because you genuinely can't remember the last one. Instead, your advisor gently brings up your children, your grandchildren, what you want to leave behind, and how you want it handled once you're no longer the one signing. An estate attorney joins the next meeting, papers spread across the table, trusts, beneficiaries, a conversation about which of your two children should make decisions if you someday can't make them yourself. It's a question you and your spouse have quietly avoided asking each other for years, and now a stranger in a good suit is asking it for you, gently, like it's simply part of the paperwork. You leave that meeting a little quieter than you arrived. Not sad exactly, just aware, in a way you weren't an hour earlier, of how much thought is now being given to a future you personally won't witness. Your daughter starts getting invited to some of these meetings now too. You notice she takes notes. You didn't ask her to. There's a strange comfort in it, and a strange grief too. The two feelings arriving at once, the way they sometimes do at this age, neither one canceling the other out. The rule of level 7, the bank starts planning your family's future before your family has fully agreed to talk about it themselves. And at the very top, something happens that barely resembles banking at all. $25 million, and there is no branch anymore, only a small team whose entire job, every day, is you. Your accounts, your properties, your trusts, tracked by people who call before a market shift affects you, not after. They handle the insurance renewal you forgot about. They flag the property tax deadline before the county does. When your flight gets delayed in an airport lounge on the way to see your grandchildren, someone from your team has already rebooked the connection before you've finished your coffee. When your grandson mentions once at dinner that he's applying to engineering school, somebody on your team quietly knows the tuition deadline before you do. It sounds like freedom. Mostly it is. But sit with it long enough, and something else creeps in too. A quiet, unfamiliar feeling of not quite managing your own life anymore. Every decision anticipated. Every problem solved before you knew it existed. Independence, traded so gradually for comfort that you never notice the exchange happening at all, the way you never notice a room getting warmer until someone points out you've taken off your sweater. The rule of level 8, you stop being a customer of the bank. The bank becomes the quiet architecture of your entire life, and you're no longer sure which parts of it are still only yours. Now put all 8 of these next to each other, and something uncomfortable is hard to unsee. The man at $0, the one who actually needed protection first, needed the fraud caught fastest, needed the fee explained kindly, waited the longest for all of it. And the one who could absorb any mistake without blinking got a team built entirely to make sure he never had to. It was never really about who deserved help the most. It was about who the system had already decided was worth the least trouble to keep. And once you've seen that, you can't unsee it the next time you're standing in a line, watching someone else get a call you never got, walking past a door you didn't even know had a handle, wondering quietly whether it was ever meant to open for you at all, or whether somewhere behind a counter you've never seen it already has, and nobody's told you yet.